So, visiting today H.P. Lovecraft because it was just his birthday a few days ago. He was a writer of occult horror and terror. Some of his stories include Rats in the Walls and the Dunwich Horror, which I discovered when I was in my early teens. So, what's the planet of writing? Would be Mercury, and we find it here in Virgo, which is one of the two signs that's ruled by Mercury, and therefore Mercury is very powerful there. The other sign which Mercury rules is Gemini. Here's Gemini in the chart. He has Neptune and Pluto very closely together here. Neptune is a planet of a lot of inspiration and creativity, and Pluto intensifies the abilities of Neptune tremendously. When we look down here, this is in Gemini. When we look down here, we see Jupiter, which is a beneficial planet, optimistic, and giving the potential for a lot of success in whatever it touches. And this planet touches these two planets. It's in 4 degrees, you notice here, of Aquarius. And Aquarius is an air sign, the same way as Gemini is an air sign. So it's an air sign thing that he's got going here. Jupiter enhances and increases the productivity and the imagination of Neptune. And also Jupiter, in this connection with Pluto, can make a person quite successful and well-known. But poor H.P. Lovecraft had some problems, and those include the fact that he was born with the Sun in conjunction with Lilith, which is not particularly good. But also Lilith brings the Sun and Saturn closer together, so it brings it into a conjunction of Sun and Saturn. Gives a kind of a serious kind of like a side to the nature. Mercury here is a little bit isolated because it doesn't really make that many aspects. It's too far from Saturn to be called an aspect. It doesn't really do almost hardly anything in the chart, and I think that's what prompted him to reach out so much with correspondence and with his stories. You notice here, let's see, this is the 12th house. And here's the start of the 12th house, this little arrow, and here's the rising sign in Libra. And so Mercury is in the 12th. The 12th is the house of the subconscious mind and of skeletons in the closet and of all kinds of things that are hidden and secret. And for him, this is a very apt planet, and I'll tell you in a minute why. He was also born with the moon in a conjunction with Uranus. This is a notorious, I shouldn't say notorious because a lot of people have it, but it's a conjunction that often means that the mother, the parents, there's some kind of problem there. It also makes him kind of moody and liable to do all kinds of unusual things, very unusual friends, very unusual, peculiar interests in life, including, for example, in his occult horror stories, the things that are lurking in the dark and in the underneath the earth that want to come back to earth, as you'll see in, for example, the Dunwich Horror, where that's, and also the Rats in the Walls, where these are both themes. So he was not particularly happy with life. He was not a Christian. He did not have. It was in an amoral universe that he inhabited. Let's put it that way. And his father died when Lovecraft was a very young boy, and he maybe 3 or 4 years old. He was visiting Chicago, and he ended up going psychotic, and he was put in an institution where he died several years later. His mother was very close to him because notice that the moon is very close to the rising sign. This is the ascendant. He's got Venus here and moon here. So women have been very important in his life, and his mother passed away about 1920, thereabouts, when he was about 30 years old, and he never recovered from that because he spent a lot of years living with his mother. And she was institutionalized also for several years before she died. So both his father and his mother, represented by the sun and the moon, had these problems in their lives. He was not far from institutionalization himself. He never graduated from high school. He never became an astronomer, which is what he wanted to do. He did keep up a fantastic correspondence. He wrote these fantastic stories, but none of his stories were combined in a book until several years after he died, which was 1939, 1940. He himself died in 1937 when he was about 47 years old. I attribute that to Mars being opposite Pluto and Neptune. Mars opposite Pluto and Neptune is not particularly good for being very long-lived, and there's several different indications here that there are some problems in the chart like that. Moon and Uranus, Mars opposite the Neptune and the Pluto, Sun conjunction Saturn, and so he died of cancer of I think it's the small intestine. And a person who helped him quite a bit in his life was August Derleth. He was a correspondent with him. Here we go. Let me see. There we go. August Derleth on another page. And August Derleth decided to bring Lovecraft to publication. And what happened here is Derleth had Mercury and Venus in 13 and 20 degrees of Aquarius. That's Mercury and Venus in Aquarius. Now, if we go back to H.P. Lovecraft, we'll find that 13 and 20 Aquarius ties in very favorably with the moon and, well, actually with the ascendant, 13 degrees Libra on Lovecraft, and the moon and Uranus. So things that were different, unusual, and weird in Lovecraft's life were really keenly appreciated and felt in Derleth's life. And so Venus has to do with affection, and so does the moon. So, by the way, that I think is what caused him to be to go after Lovecraft's works and to publish them in book form and make Lovecraft famous, because if Derleth had not done that, he would not have received the accolades that he did and the attention in later generations. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.